Right guys, we're back with another BZ unboxing video. One of the benefits of only starting doing YouTube in like mid 2024 is that we can kind of go back and unbox some of our more favorite items in the shop that we haven't given enough attention to here at BZ. So today we're going to be unboxing one of my favorite gas blowback guns of the last few years, the KWA Lithgow F90. This thing first landed with us in the UK on December 28th, 2023. I know that because we counted it as one of the best new products of 2024 on a recent video. Go watch that if you haven't already. We're not breaking any new ground here. This has been available for over a year, so you might have seen some videos or photos or whatever about it, but I'm going to do a little unboxing because it is just such a gorgeous little thing. Spoiler alert for this video, the general consensus on the F90 is that it's rather glorious. KWA smashed it out of the park with this thing, but let's just start out with the box itself. Quite a simple design on the box. It's not the most, groundbreaking design, but I think I do actually like the look of the F90. I think it stands out, just nice and clean, nice and simple. But obviously what's inside is a bit more exciting. So I think in recent years, KWA have really become known for making a great out of the box AEG. And I think it's been quite a few years since they made a really widely regarded gas blowback gun, at least here in the UK, like the MP9, which we're not able to sell in the UK. That's obviously, everyone knows how good an MP9 is. Their version of the Vector, I think they stopped making them in 2013. They're like rocking horse, you know what, at the moment. And they go for ridiculous prices because people love the KWA Vector so much. But the KWA F90 is a return to high form when it comes to gas blowbacks for KWA. So if you've never heard of the F90, first of all, you're going to look at it, you're going to say that looks like a Styra AUG. I mean, it's very, very similar, but don't tell that to Lithgow because apparently they hate being compared to that. But obviously it's based on that design. It's a bullpup shotgun, but not a bullpup shotgun. I've been spending too much time on with the G&G bullpup shotgun. It's a bullpup rifle. Basically, a bullpup rifle means that the magazine and the chamber are located behind the trigger assembly there, so that's where the magazine goes at the back. But yeah, let's get this thing out of the box and take a closer look at it. So the Lithgow F90 might be a gun that you haven't actually heard of. Look at that absolutely gorgeous bit of kit, by the way, before we go into a bit of a history lesson. So the Lithgow F90, Lithgow Arms are an Australian brand that have been going for about a century now, I believe. They're a small arms manufacturer. The F90 was actually developed exclusively for the Australian Department of Defence, so this is the rifle that the Australian Department of Defence use. So when KWA got the license for the F90 and made their Airsoft replica version of the F90, it was actually mainly used for the purposes of training for the Australian Armed Forces. They use this as a training weapon. So they use the Airsoft replica instead of using the real thing in training. KWA actually do a lot of training. They make a lot of replicas for the purposes of law enforcement training in the US and obviously now in Australia too. In fact, we actually got a preview model of this when it first was in development. In mid 2023, we opened our new shop here in Teesside. I'm just going to give you some closer looks at the absolutely gorgeous F90. But yeah, we opened a new shop in early May 2023. The F90 was 6 months away from being ready for retail, but they had a working model available that they were sending out to the Australian Armed Forces for the Department of Defence, sorry. And basically they sent one to us here at BZ. I'll show them. This is a good time to get out the magazine. So it's a 30 round waffle design magazine. It's a big chunky boy. It's like about a good half a kilogram, this thing. It's a very hefty magazine. You're not going to break this thing in a hurry. But basically for the training, for the Australian training guns, so they can distinguish them from the real thing, their magazines have to be painted blue. The one that we got for a preview model that we got for the opening of our new store, they'd actually just spray painted over the magazine black. You can actually still see like flecks of blue in it. That's how far they went to make sure we had a working model of this to show everyone, a preview model of it. KWA really went above and beyond on that one, sending this thing all the way from Australia straight to us, just in time for the opening of our new shop. But I'm rambling a bit here. Let's talk more about the actual gun itself. So the construction of this thing, it's got a full metal upper and lower receiver. It's got a full metal upper receiver, not a lower receiver. It's got a full metal upper receiver and barrel assembly. But so all the parts that you want to be metal in a gun are metal, thankfully. So, you know, there's some good quality internals in it. But the low receiver and the stock are a very high strength polymer. If you've seen any of our videos talking about the KWA polymer series of AAGs, you'll know that KWA make a good strength polymer. Their polymer guns are some of the heaviest on the market because of how thick and heavy duty that polymer is. You're not going to crack this thing in a hurry. It's absolutely solid bit of kit. That's one of the things people love about the F90. It's just a durable beast of a gun. Also, it's just, I know it's very, very similar to an AUG, but it's just a gorgeous little thing. I think, in my opinion, it's a slightly better looking version of an AUG. And I think that's an opinion shared by a lot of people as well. It's about 3.5 kilograms, so it's quite a heavy boy. If you're not someone who wants to be lugging around a big chunky gun all day, the F90 probably isn't for you. But yeah, let's just stick a magazine in there, show it off with a mag. Oh, just look at that thing. Absolutely bloody gorgeous. Right, so let's take a closer look at some of the features of the F90, starting with the trigger. So you'll notice that it doesn't have a fire selector on it. This is a very common feature with AUGs. It's got that signature two-stage trigger that you see on AUGs. Basically what that means is you've got your safety switch here. So your safety's on. When you turn it off, for semi-auto, you just want to give it a half pull to about there, and that'll start firing on semi. You can just, you know, do multiple shots on that. Or if you want to fire on full auto, you just have to give it a full squeeze down. I think when it comes to AUG triggers, this is probably one of the best ones we've seen. It's very responsive. If you pull it halfway there, you can really feel where the semi-auto is, and then to go for full auto, you really have to give it a good pull. It's not likely that you're going to be accidentally hitting on full auto when you don't want to. But obviously, if you do want to lock it into semi, if you run it as like a DMR, there is a fiddly little switch there. You might be able to see that locks it off from going full auto. This reset it's exactly where the brake is, so you're not going to, like, when you, even with the thing on, you're not going to accidentally be hitting full auto. When this is on, you're going to be locked. You are going to be locked into semi. So it's probably one of the best AUG triggers that we've ever seen. Out of the box anyway, it is a bit squishy, but that is to be expected with this type of trigger. But it's a lovely bit of kit from KWA. If you're looking for something with this style of trigger, if you're looking for an AUG build, this is actually, in my personal opinion anyway, maybe the best option on the market right now. Feel free to disagree in the comments if you've got a better pick for that. What we will say though is, if you are planning on running this as semi-auto only, make sure you do this switch before you go out in the field if you're wearing gloves. Even without gloves on, it's a bit fiddly. You need to make sure you've got a good nail on you in order to pull it out. But if you try and do that out in the field when you've got gloves on, it's going to be nigh on impossible unless you take your gloves off. No one wants to be messing about while they're on the field. So yeah, make sure you do that while you're in a safe camp. Now, because they make such a good quality replica, KWA have tried to make the F90 as close to the real thing as possible. You can see the Lithgow arms markings on the side there. One thing that they've included that's on the real thing is this expansion slot in front of the trigger. If I show you there, this can be pulled out. If I just pop it out, there you go. So on the real thing, this would be for an SL40 grenade launcher. Basically, you'd have your grenade launcher mounted in there, which I think is a very cool little addition. Like, they could have just left that out completely, but they decided not to because it's the real thing. It does have this available. One thing I will say is that we're a year on from release, and I'm disappointed that they haven't released an SL40 style grenade launcher that fits with the F90, and no other brand has released an aftermarket version of it either. I would have liked to have seen this from KWA. I think it would have been a really cool addition to the F90. Would have just taken it to the next level of realism toward, like, if you wanted it to replicate the real thing. Of course, you could mount a very small compact grenade launcher on here, if you on this reel, if you'd like to. Like Action Army make a really good compact one that would fit nicely on there, or if you'd rather do that than having a foregrip on it. But you know, if we have the grenade launcher going in there, I would have thought that would have been a fantastic feature. But the fact that even though it's not an available part for in the airsoft world at the moment, that at least that I'm not aware of, I like the fact that KWA went to the detail of including it with the gun just so it'd be as close to the real thing as possible. Right, another feature that KWA have transferred over from the real F90 is the 1-pin takedown. You see there's a little pin here, push it all the way in, make sure you don't catch your thumb on the way out, because I've done that a couple of times, and then you can just pull off the upper receiver. Nice and easy. This makes repairs and upgrades really, really simple to do, and you can even slide out the bolt assembly right at the back. That was really, really easy to take apart. So if you're someone that likes to take apart your guns, that is an absolute piece of cake. One thing is you do have the rotary hop there, nice and easy to adjust. Obviously it would be a bit more ideal if it was adjustable from the outside of the gun, but you did just see how easy it was to take that thing apart there. So it's not an absolute nightmare or anything like that, but you know, obviously it's slightly more inconvenient than just having the rotary hop on the outside. But for repairs, upgrades, this is absolutely ideal. So moving on to the middle of the KWA F90. So up top, plenty of real estate for optics. You can get yourself a magnifier and a red dot on there, whatever your poison is. You're not going to be struggling for optic space on the top of this bad boy. We've also got the rail at the front for you know, foregrips and grenade launchers, etc. And you've also got a side rail, so you can whack a pec box, a flashlight on this thing. So it's going to be accessoried up to the gills. This is designed to be as ambidextrous as possible, like the real thing. But obviously, if you are a lefty and you're holding it like this, obviously, if you've got a pec box or a flashlight on there, it is going to get in your way a little bit. It's going to impede your vision a bit. Unfortunately, you can't attach it to the other side. So that is one downside if you are a lefty. But if you're running it on the right hand side, I mean, you're absolutely spoiled for choice with space for accessories. So I think that's a really great feature of the F90. Right, moving on to the bolt. So as you can see, it's very, very similar to a Steyr AUG bolt. Very, very satisfying doing that, guys. You're never ever going to get sick and tired of pulling that back. Nice, smooth action on the pullback as well. But something great about the F90 bolt is that you can actually flip it up out of the way. Just a nice little nifty feature, just makes it slightly more comfortable to use. You're not going to catch it while it's sticking out on the side like this. You know, it just flips up out of the way, just giving you that little extra bit of room for yourself. So a very nice little feature on the bolt there. I noticed on top of the bolt there is a tiny little button right there. That's a forward assist button. Basically, if a round does not chamber, when you pull the handle back, then you smack it forward, press that button, it helps force it into place. Also, another feature like the real thing, there is a bolt release button on the side here. So that is pretty much what the KWA F90 is. It is an absolutely beautiful bit of kit. I think when it comes to gas blowback rifles, you could do a lot worse than buy one of these. We've got a couple of guys on the BZ team who are using F90s who really rate them high. If you're not convinced by our review, there's several reviews on YouTube, quite a few videos about the F90, and the general consensus is the F90 is a fantastic gas blowback rifle. KWA knocked it out of the park, not only making this thing up to the standard of the real thing, both in terms of how it looks, replicating the real F90, but also in performance as well. It speaks for itself that the Australian Department of Defence actually use these for training purposes. If the real Department of Defence, who the F90 is specifically made for, if they're giving it the seal of approval and using it for training purposes, then it's good enough for you guys as well. Let us know what you think about the F90, both in looks, and we're going to test it on the range in a second. We're probably going to just empty a 30 round mag with this thing, but let us know what you think of it in the design. If you've got an F90, if you've shot an F90, do let us know in the comments. We always want to know what you guys think. Apart from it being fantastic in almost every way, I'd say a couple of the downsides is that grenade launcher, the fact that you can't get the grenade launcher that fits in the front there. One thing I didn't mention is how nice this thing is to hold. You'll see it when I shoot in a second, but it's got this nice curved oh, knocked the camera once again. This curved bit at the front, it's nice and easy to hold in your hand. I don't even think you'd need to put a foregrip on this thing because it's so nice and easy to hold in your hands. One downside though, I would say, is the mag release. it has caused us a few issues with customers trying this out. So when we first got a preview model of this in May 2023 for the opening of our new shop, this little mag release here, sorry, I can't even, I'm blocking it, but there's a mag release right here, right behind where the magazine is. We did find that a couple of people were catching themselves on the mag release to the point where obviously there was only one preview model that wasn't in the hands of the Australian Department of Defence at this time. It was at BZ, a worldwide exclusive preview. We had one gun, one magazine. One of the first people to try out the F90, put the magazine in, they were firing away. They caught the mag release. This thing fell down, landed on the concrete floor, and it suddenly started spitting gas. Luckily, we were able to fix it and sort it, but that's how easy it is to catch that. I think once you're used to the F90 and you're using it for a bit, it's not an issue, but when you're first picking it up, it is easy to pick up, to catch yourself on that mag release. So, you know, it's a very minor downside, that and the grenade launcher, but in general, other than that, the F90 is just a gorgeous bit of kit. Once I can get the bloody magazine in, yeah, just look at it. Absolutely gorgeous, and we're going to shoot it now, show you how well it shoots straight out of the box. Right, we filled this mag up with some Vaux V12 gas, and we've also filled it up with some .2 Rebel Precision BBs. Let's stick it in and let's get it on the chronograph. Right, just give it a few shots and chronograph straight out of the box on .2s. So we've got 3-2-3 for the first shot, 3-3-1 on the second, and 320 on the third. So we're not hitting that 350 limit. Exactly where we want it to be, straight out of the box. Let's just empty the mag out and have some fun with it. Yeah, so only 30 rounds in a mag for the F90, so if you are more of a full auto shooter, this is going to be a pretty expensive gun to run for you. But just simply put, straight out of the box, great performance, great looking gun. This is just an A+, A tier, maybe even S tier gun from KWA. They smashed it, and they've got some new releases. They've got a new gas blowbacks coming out in 2025. Got that new TAC9 SMG coming very, very soon. But do let us know, what do you think of the KWA F90? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and let us know, is there a product you want to see us do an unboxing or a review on next? Let us know that as well. And remember to like this video and subscribe to BZ for more content like this. Thanks for watching, guys.